Phoenix Lumber Company had been inspected 4 times in the last 5 years, including a fatality inspection in 2020 that resulted in the agency citing the company with 4 willful and 10 serious violations.
Are you on? Which side are you on?
So every week, bosses are killing people, bosses are stealing from their workers, bosses are misbehaving all the time, and we want to remind people of that because they're not going to hear it in other places. So let's do Boss Watch. In Virginia, the U.S. Department of Labor's Wage and Hour Division has recovered nearly $900,000 in back wages and damages after its investigation found a Norfolk home care employer denied 108 workers their hard-earned overtime pay. The division's investigation found that Advantage Home Care LLC and co-owners Dondra Nichols and Philip Simons failed to pay required overtime rates for all hours worked over 40 in a work week and did not maintain accurate records of hours worked. The employers paid $438,000 in back wages and an equal amount in liquidated damages for these violations of the Fair Labor Standards Act. In Alabama, a federal investigation into an August 2023 horrific fatal incident at a Phoenix City sawmill revealed for the second time in 3 years that the employer could have prevented a tragedy by following required safety rules. The U.S. Department of Labor's Occupational Safety and Health Administration, responding to reports by first responders, found that a 67-year-old sawmill supervisor at MDLG Incorporated, operating as Phoenix Lumber Company, had climbed on top of an auger to access a difficult-to-reach area to unclog a wood chipper. Jesus. Because of the multiple failures by the employer to protect him, the machine started while the employee was on top of the auger. The 20-year employee was caught in the machinery and fatally injured. In response to the August 2023 fatal incident, OSHA cited Phoenix Lumber Company as well as its owners John Menza Dudley Jr. and Leslie Elizabeth Dudley with 22 willful violations, 1 repeat violation, and 5 serious violations, totaling $2.47 million in proposed penalties. Specifically, the agency found the employer failed to ensure employees used energy control procedures to prevent the unexpected startup of machines while performing maintenance and servicing activities such as clearing jams. They failed to ensure the use of lockout-tagout devices on machinery when performing maintenance. They also failed to provide training to employees on the purpose and function of the energy control program, as well as ensure they have the knowledge and skills required for the safe application of energy control measures. They failed to maintain guarding on machines that posed amputation hazards to employees, and they failed to require fall protection to be used in areas above 4 feet. Prior to these citations, Phoenix Lumber Company had been inspected 4 times in the last 5 years, including a fatality inspection in 2020 that resulted in the agency citing the company with 4 willful and 10 serious violations. OSHA added the employer to the agency's Severe Violators Enforcement Program back in 2020, a program for employers who endanger workers by committing willful, repeat, or failure to abate violations that could lead to fatalities or catastrophic injuries. Employers remain on the list until they can demonstrate certain criteria and safety standards within a 3-year time frame. In Tennessee, the U.S. Department of Labor today asked a federal court to issue a nationwide temporary restraining order and injunction against Fayette Janitorial Service LLC, operating as Fayette Industrial, to stop the Tennessee-based company from illegally employing children while the department continues its investigations of the company's labor practices. Filed by the department's Office of the Solicitor in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Iowa, the request for a restraining order is prompted by investigations by the department's Wage and Hour Division. Investigators discovered Fayette employed children to clean and sanitize spaces and equipment during overnight shifts to fulfill sanitation contracts at a Purdue Farms plant in Accomack, Virginia, and at Seaboard Triumph Foods LLC in Sioux City, Iowa. The Fair Labor Standards Act bans children under the age of 18 from working in dangerous occupations, including most jobs in meat and poultry slaughtering, processing, rendering, and packing establishments. In its filing, the department alleges Fayette employed 15 children hired as young as 13 years old in Virginia and at least 9 children in Iowa on its overnight sanitation shifts. Miners were used to clean dangerous kill floor equipment such as head splitters, jaw pullers, meat bandsaws, and neck clippers. At least one 14-year-old at the Virginia facility suffered severe injuries while employed by Fayette. Fayette Janitorial Service, LLC of Somerville, Tennessee, provides contract sanitation and cleaning services for meat and poultry processing facilities, including Purdue Farms and Seaboard Triumph Foods, in about 30 states and employs more than 600 workers. The Department of Labor's investigations into Fayette are ongoing. Absolutely deplorable, wicked behavior from this company. But, again, not looking at any criminal charges here. Despicable. Had a few dishonorable mentions, wanted to make sure that we shared those with you, even though we don't have time to go into them deeply. Federal safety investigators learned that a 41-year-old maintenance technician at Aladdin Columbus Foundry in Columbus, Georgia, endured severe injuries. Severe injuries from an electrical transformer explosion and opened a second investigation. The company was cited for 22 serious and 3 other than serious violations, including failure to mandate electrical suits and insulated tools, for a total of $182,000. The U.S. Department of Labor's Wage and Hour Division recovered $97,000 in back wages and damages for 26 workers who were not paid overtime by Matryoshka Deli in North Miami Beach, Florida. The U.S. Department of Labor's Wage and Hour Division recovered $37,000 in back wages for 37 workers who were not paid overtime by EAS Homes in Charleston, South Carolina. And the U.S. DOL's Wage and Hour Division recovered $52,000 in tips, back wages, and damages to more than 13 workers who had these wages stolen from them by Mura Ichiban Restaurant and Nam Damoon Restaurant in Saipan, Marianas Islands.
I had to look that up, the acronym.
Yes.
When I saw that on the DOL's
MP.
website.
MP is the acronym for Marianas Islands. Not intuitive. The U.S. Department of Labor's Occupational Safety and Health Administration has cited an LMI finishing in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, $284,000 for exposing workers to nearly 24 safety hazards following a complaint about a lax safety environment at the company's plant in Catoosa. So yeah, there we go. Boss watch. Boss is bad. That's the moral of the story there. You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.